All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello, hello, hello. It is Tuesday. It's a little bit after 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and you're listening to Rare Sense Thoughts on Blog Talk Radio. I'm your host, Harry Shade, and I'm so very blessed that you're here with me today and listening in. And as always, it is my wish, my hope, my intention to provide you with some information to help you live a fulfilled and balanced life. Now, one thing I have to say here today is, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not perfect, okay? And I'm just throwing it out there because, there's been some things that have come along here recently that I think people have been questioning a little bit about what I do and how I do it. And I want you to understand something. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. And as long as I have breath in this body, that's going to be happening. So I don't come before you to say that, hey, I know exactly everything that you need to be doing. I'm the perfect person. Follow me. Make me your guru. None of that. What I do every single day is my very best to help people be the best they can be. And you know what that does? Is it allows me to be the best I can be. Okay? So, I'm out here just like the rest of you, learning and growing. And when I do this show and when I do my seminars and speeches or anything else, a lot of the times when I'm working with even clients in groups, teams, I'm learning. And I choose to be that way and I choose to do it that way simply because I feel that's the best way to be. Okay? And I'm not looking for perfection myself either. I'm just looking to get better, a little bit better each and every day, in some way, shape, or form, whether it be body, mind, or spirit. Okay. So with that in mind, though, I want to talk a little bit this week. I'm going to talk about lessons of my father. Okay. Just had Father's Day a couple days ago, and for all of you fathers out there, whether you're male or female, a lot of times females taking on that father role, all you fathers out there that have, been in that role, first and foremost, I want to thank you. And secondly, I want to say, what is it I want to say secondly? No, I'm just kidding. What I want to say is that, it's such an important thing, to have both a mother and a father. And sometimes, again, the fathers or the mothers will take on both of those roles. And, again, I thank each and every one of you who's out there doing it every day, to be that role model for the children of the world. But I wanted to talk a little bit about my father. Now, I did a note on Facebook the other day. It's called Lessons of My Father, and I got to introduce my dad to the Facebook world. Now, my father passed away, it's going to be 12 years ago, coming up in August. And I do miss him. I miss him dearly. And even though he and I didn't have the best of relationships for quite a while in my life, towards the end of his life, we reconciled. And I sat back and, I'm the type of person I say, what came out of that relationship? And, he taught me a lot of things. Now, to introduce my dad to the radio show and to the people listening in, he was a Korean War veteran. He was a pretty simple kind of guy, not a fashionista whatsoever, but he didn't care. What he really cared about was being of service to others. He cared about his community. He loved his country. I mean, for him, service in the Korean War was something that just kind of came natural, I guess, for him. And, what else can I tell you about him? He loved his Cleveland Indians and Cleveland Browns, even though at the end of each year, he more suffered as a fan for them than anything else. And he would say he wasn't going to root for him again. He'd come back the next year because he was fiercely loyal. What did he do for a living? Well, like I said, he's a simple man. He was a custodian, he's a bus driver, and he was a factory worker for General Motors and retired from General Motors. One of the interesting things, the story I like to share about that, is my dad bought a new car every 3 years. That was one of his things. Went out and got himself a new car. But he never bought a General Motors car or a GM car. He always bought Fords. And I remember one time somebody asked him, they said, Harry, because he's also named Harry. I'm not a junior, though, different middle names. But he said, Harry, why do you always buy Fords when you work at GM? You can get that discount. And my dad, in his perfect way, just kind of looked at him and said, That's because I work out there and I know how they build them. So apparently that wasn't a good thing. I don't know, but that was my dad. What else can I tell you about my dad? Loved chocolate milkshakes. And the other thing he loved to do was when he ate popcorn, he always had to have a Hershey bar with it. So a little bit of popcorn, a little bit of Hershey bar. And to this day, I still do that. So what are some of the things, though, that my dad taught me? Well, quite frankly, he taught me when you get knocked down to get up every single time. That life is going to deal you some blows, but as long as you get up and dust yourself off and keep going, then, you're doing exactly what you need to do, and the only thing that's going to help you in life in that particular thing is to get back up, and some other things. He taught me determination and dedication. He taught me commitment. He taught me loyalty. Okay. He taught me to be honest. Just by his example and how he did things. He was a very proud member of the American Legion and the VFW and the AMVETS, and was forever up there helping with them with anything that they were doing in the community. And so that's a lot of things that he taught me that I carry with me to today. All right, this is where we take our break. I will be back, and when I come back, we'll talk more about the lessons from my father.